Howdy guys, Rex here. Today we're going to talk with Eduardo Abril de Fontcuberta. We're going to talk about ELR science. We got him on the line here from Madrid, Spain. And so bear with us on the audio. Hopefully it works out okay. And we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff with ELR. There's a lot of new emerging ELR technology coming out on the market. And of course, we're coming up real quick on our next RX 3000 course in Rotan, Texas. It's going to be March 13 through 15 of 2020. And so, here is Mr. Eduardo Fontcuberta.
First of all, I want to say hello to all Rex Defense viewers. And I'm happy to be here again after our interview a couple of years ago. I think we're going to have a good time talking about ELR.
Absolutely, my friend. There's so much coming out now. I got a whole list of different questions here I'd like to ask you, different things I'd like to bounce off of you. And anytime I get a chance to talk with Eduardo, I like to see what his observations are. We always compare notes. There's just so much neat stuff out there on the market and in the science and how things are managed that I think is cool to get the chance to hang out with him. And so likewise, if you're able to come to the defense class RX 3000, you'll get to hang out with both Eduardo and I. Will be there at the same time. It's going to be a good time. So last year at the ELR 3000 course, we had a lot of chances to visit about how stuff is going. So what kind of new stuff are you seeing in the long range and extreme long range world right now?
What I envisioned some years ago with the King of 2 Miles has become a global sport. Therefore, we don't have only shooters in the USA striving to improve performance. We have very smart people everywhere in the world trying to improve ELR and to shoot 2 miles consistent. That was the goal, the original goal with the King of 2 Miles.
Well, I say you certainly accomplished that goal. The enthusiasm in the world has reached a critical mass in my observation. There's a lot of people getting into it now. You got the King of 2 Mile in France, you got him in South America, you got him going on all over the place. And so that was my original intent as well when I started my project, is to kind of start that enthusiasm and get everyone on fire for it. We were talking last time, I think we were at the Steyr Academy, about some new calibers out there. Like there's a 460 Steyr. You were telling me some of the details on that, and I just wanted you to expound on, let's just go with calibers and new cartridges in general. What are you seeing out there that might be a game changer in the ELR world?
Caliber-wise, there has been a lot of new stuff going on ELR, especially because there's two ways of trying to get to 2 miles. One is the heavy rifle way, and the other one is what David Tubb and others are pushing, which is 25 pounds or less rifles. First of all, the first thing we clarified when we started, there was a lot of people trying to shoot 2 miles with 3-thread Lapuas like this. Actually, now we had to start the King of 1 Mile to allow people with 3-thread Lapuas 6.5s to compete on ELR, because they didn't make it. They came to the competitions, actually to the King of 2 Miles in France, and they strive to get past 2 kilometers. So basically now everybody has it clear. If you want to get to 2 miles, you actually need a heavy caliber, which basically means that even the 25-pound rifles will need a caliber larger than the 338 Lapua. Basically, the most prominent right now are some Wildcats and the 33XC from David Tubb. There's a lot of people also working with new rifles, with structure barrels like Take Home HQ, and those rifles are nearly making the weight for the 25-pound rifles. We don't make two classes in the King of 2 Miles, caliber-wise or weight-wise, because we need to know which is better. If we have 40-pound rifles, or if we have 25-pound rifles that are as good as the 40-pound rifles. That's a very important thing for me and for all the King of 2 Miles team, because we come from the military.
Yeah, footprint and weight is actually kind of a priority for anyone with any kind of field applications, particularly like military and even hunting or anything that's a practical application. Competition-specific gear, of course, you don't really have those limitations and can get away with it. But weight generally is your friend, but unless you're carrying it around. From an engineering point of view, of course, weight is good. But like you said, with the TACCOM HQ, the structured barrels, that's something I actually got a chance to try 5 or 6 of their different rifles so far. And they're harmonically dead to the point to where they're they're acting like a really heavy rifle, but they don't have the same weight. Kind of like engineered lumber is structured in such a way to where you maintain the rigidity, and particularly in a barrel, the way everything reverberates, it actually harmonically deadens that. So we're seeing some really cool new stuff come out there. But absolutely, I would agree with you on the 338 Lapua Magnum is kind of the starting point. 2 miles is like really, really, really far. And the 338 Lapua Magnum is going to rock it out there to, 2,000 meters. But when you're talking, 3,000, yeah, I would agree with you. There's no replacement for displacement.
And talking about light rifles, we don't have 2 classes at the King of 2 Miles, because we want to know which is the king, which is the actual weight of rifle that would perform better at 2 miles. And then we don't want 2 kings. We don't want the king of heavy rifles and the king of light rifles. We want the king that proves to be the most efficient, the most performing at 2 miles. We have the big calibers, which are right now reigning, which is 416 Barrett, the 460 Star, and lots of 375 JTACs, some 408s and some Wildcats. And then on the light rifles, which are under 25 pounds, we have basically a lot of different Wildcats and the 33 XC from David Tubb that is very, very promising.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of stuff from David Tubb, and he's definitely pushing the edge of the technology. He's been very good at that for a long time, and so it's kind of neat to watch the competition really drive this technology to get us further along, just like NASCAR did for regular automobiles. That's kind of cool to see that happen in the extreme long-range world as well. So there's a lot of new accessories coming out. I know a lot of folks are going to be curious as to, is there any like toys that you've seen or accessories that can complement the system and actually buy you some actual real estate in terms of long range performance?
And regarding accessories, there has been a huge amount of improvement on the King of 2 Miles. Why? Because we created the market. Now the companies are finding that it is a good investment to make new stuff for us to shoot, and then of course we will buy it. What is happening on the market? We are having lots of companies making new scopes, like Loopholes, like Mission Benders, many other companies that are making scopes, and especially also we have companies that are making light and affordable scopes, because not everybody can spend $3,000 on a scope.
Yeah, I've been seeing on some of the new scope makers coming out. Athlon was just a couple years ago one of the first ones to really produce stuff for really, really cheap. I've always liked Primary Arms in terms of their reticles and their BDC reticles. I think they do good with that. Particularly their mill scale reticles are balanced out real nice. They're excellent value. Athlon came out a couple years ago with the Aries and the Midas TAC, which have a stainless steel control group that's actually really, really good. I've been seeing some different issues with some of those. We see a lot of them at the classes. One of the newer ones, too, that we're working with is Arken Optics. Arken USA, ARKEN, and those are actually like really affordable if you're trying to get your foot in the door for extreme long-range shooting. They offer all the features that a guy would need, but it's like well under $1,000. Their upper scale models are like in the $500 range, and when I asked my guys what they should cost, they thought like, they assumed they were a couple grand. And so there's a lot of stuff. The technology is really catching up on optics for sure.
We also have the reigning spotting scope, which is basically the Swarovski, which is basically what most teams have, and also we have adjustable bases. That's actually changing the way we shoot. It's also very important to understand that no scope will get the elevation that you need to shoot 2 miles. So basically, we need to have a Charlie, which is the guys that actually invented this, and which is the most used around the world, which goes just in the front with magnets or into the Picatinny. This will make it possible to increase the elevation from a certain amount. This one is 25 millirads.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been running the Charlie Terac for quite a while. I run them. I got the one that I have set up for a 20 mils, and it's on my Schmidtmeter PM2, and I switched that from rifle to rifle. And there's like no replacement for that method. You don't have to adjust where your eye is behind the scope. Some of the adjustable mounts, you got to move your cheek piece up and down because you need to maintain proper alignment with the optic. But the nice thing about the prism that you put in front of there is, and you guys have seen it on the reviews, I'm sure, and I'll put some pictures of it here for you if you haven't seen exactly a close-up what he's talking about. But that's a very, very good way to go. Everyone at the RX 3000 course who actually makes it to 3,000 yards, which is not quite 2 miles yet. 2 miles is another heavy step beyond that, but everyone who's shooting really successfully over 2,500 yards is using the Charlie Terac so they can actually maintain having a holding point rather than holding up in the clouds someplace. So that's an excellent accessory. I know there's some bipod innovations that you've been involved with. I've tested actually the new Font Cuberta Edition fast chassis and some of those other things. What else have you been seeing in that part of the market? There's some interesting new ways of taking advantage of like ancient geometry and utilizing that to get a steady position. If you want to expound on that a little bit, that'd be awesome.
Okay, one of the most important developments we had at the King of 2 Miles is changing the bipod rule to go back to the original rule. Originally we had folding bipods, but at the time the folding bipods that we had were not good enough. We couldn't have the elevation, and they couldn't hold the gun steady as we needed for this kind of shooting. So we had, after so many complaints from shooters, the second year of the competition some years ago, we had to change to allow people to use F-class bipods. Now there's a lot of market pull, and there's many bipod manufacturers that are building very good quality bipods. So we were able to go back to the original and get everybody to shoot with folding bipods. That has meant that there's a lot of innovation regarding bipods. Things like the Accuracy Solutions Bipod X, which actually is a nice design to reduce the effect of the rear. Things like long shot, adjustable bases. The back rider, the adjustable back riders are a must if you want to shoot very far. And this is a retrofittable system which works impressively well. All those things allow the shooter to be consistent on his elevation, don't have tracking errors, and the rifle recoils nicely. And this is what we were fighting for since we started. We didn't want to push innovation for F-class. We wanted to push innovation for us, and that's folding bipods and rifles that can have all we need on the rifle, which is like a folding bipod. And I know that many people didn't like the change, but that's something that we needed to do, and it's working fine. Now we have about 7 or 8 different designs already on the market, and some more on the making, which will make the bipod market change radically in the next couple years, just because of the pull ELR shooters are making. Yeah, it's going to be a big change.
Absolutely. And I know that another thing we talk about when we get together for our training too is there's a whole plethora now of really decent ballistic apps and ballistic software available on the market, and you can make any of that stuff work if you true it appropriately. And so I know that you see a lot of the stuff specific to ELR, and that's kind of a different niche than inside 1,000 yards, which there's a lot more room for error inside 1,000 yards. But when you reach out beyond the supersonic range of the projectile and it encounters a dramatic change in its entire drag characteristics and develops a wobble and hits that transonic barrier, and it comes down, even the tractability equation. There's so much stuff when you're talking about ELR ballistics. What have you been seeing in changes in ballistic software and ballistic management systems with this extreme long-range competition shooting in the last year?
There's another thing that has been a real improvement, which is basically ballistics. Everybody is nowadays using ballistic software, and that's because we are pushing the envelope. Some years ago, nobody did. Everybody had tables, and it didn't work. So basically, now nobody is fighting and arguing about the needs of ballistics. We have very good systems, like the Kestrel systems, which you can select different ballistic apps on it. You have ballistics apps on the phones. You have lots of different solutions, even ballistic solutions on the laser rangefinders, which is absolutely. But also, it has been a huge improvement in the way we measure everything that we need to measure to get our stuff together, like magnetospeeds, the lab radars. All those things allow us to be able to input the right information into the ballistic software. That has been a huge difference. And also, there's companies and people like Brian List that is fighting, getting his radar system going around, trying to get us more information as possible for ELR shooters. And that's important also, because many of the new solids that we're shooting, we don't have radars available, so we need to have very good information. The bullet manufacturers are making very good stuff, and you find very good bullets from independent small manufacturers, and also for the large manufacturers that are also joining the ELR market. That's also very important, and it all surrounds the ballistics, because in the end, if we don't have the right information to put on the software, it's impossible that the fire solution will be right. And we have seen that the polishing of the systems has been more and more advanced, and right now we have very good softwares, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the original drag models, they were kind of built based on one set of methods and materials at the time when they invented, for example, the G1 or the G7 drag function. They used our artillery piece to basically get the numbers, and it may or may not be representative of the overall set of equipment as it has evolved today. So absolutely, they're finely tuning that. They're coming out with a lot of good numbers. They're tweaking the algorithms, and they're getting pretty darn good results nowadays. And so that's pretty neat to see that come out too. Is even with Hornady, Fordoff, Patagonia, Cold Bore, Applied Ballistics, everybody, they all got really good stuff. And with more users, the interfaces have been getting smarter too. That you can have the best ballistic software in the world, but if the interface is so crazy you don't know how to drive it, that's not all that helpful. So I've been seeing a lot of advancements there as well. So another real big deal as well that I want to expound on in this conversation is team development, because without someone helping you in ELR particularly, you're kind of on your own. You need someone to watch the wind. You need someone to keep track and log things and keep an eye on the mirage and also observe where your bullet's going. It's very difficult for the shooter to manage that much stuff. So what do you got to say about team management and team development that you've been seeing and how that's been evolving in the last year or so?
Some very important things that people tend to forget is that the shooter is not the all important part here, nor is equipment. Teams and teamwork is critical in ELR, and people should spend a lot of time refining their teamwork, the way they record their shots, logging their shots, and learning how to do all this stuff. For that, it's critical that they train together and go to good courses. You have tons of different good courses. I'm not here to promote anything, because you see a lot of equipment, but I don't work for any of these companies. I work for the Star Academy, and that is also one of the points. You should get good advice and good training from somewhere. I mean, you cannot just spend years and years and years that we have spent to learn all this. You can go to one of the good ELR courses around. You have the Rex 3000 next month. You have the pre-King of 2 Miles and the Star Academy I work for. And just before the King of 2 Miles in June, You have many other people out there that are very good. Just be sure that what they do is train you the way it should be. So basically find people that are successful on ELR. There are some very good shooters out there training other people. Find the right training, because teamwork is an often forgotten skill, and it's critical for ELR.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. You definitely need friends to do well with that. You only have one set of eyeballs, and usually there's so much RAM that your brain uses trying to just execute the shot, and so having a whole nother brain to manage the rest of the system is essential. So I know a lot of folks are kind of maybe intimidated to get into the ELR craft because there's so many different accessories and different rifles and stuff like that, but they can still get fired up, and they can still actually do a lot of practicing, learning the science and the applications on a smaller scale. And I know that we had a discussion on this last year as well, talking about some of the 22 caliber competition and stuff like that for ELR, because it's all just the same science compressed, and then you can actually find a range where you're shooting the maximum range that cartridge can go, but you're doing it for way cheaper, and it's not as hard to find a place to shoot. So do you have any good tips for people who are looking for different ways to practice ELR without getting into it tens of thousands of dollars?
Okay, basically all you see here is not absolutely needed. You can also practice, and that's why I brought my 22 ELR rifle. You can practice with a 22 for very little money and get us awesome training. For those people that really don't want to spend the amount of money, or they don't have the range, you can train at 600 yards or 300 yards with a 22 like this. I'm really pushing the idea of getting people to train on ELR 22. You can do all the teamwork with this kind of rifle. It's an awesome way of training for ELR, and please train. You cannot just by reading books or reading ballistics or getting onto forums learn how to do this. You need to spend a lot of time. We have spent decades trying to do this. That's why I started the King of 2 Miles years ago. You need to spend time. You need to go to the range. You need to fight and get frustrated. From frustration, from failure, comes the real success. So please find good training. Find a rifle that works for you. If you don't have the range or you don't have the budget, get a 22. Get good training, as I say, and with all that things together, you will be a very proficient shooter. You can do it in the US. Now we have competitions all around the world. We have France next month in March. We have Russia, we have Italy, we have UK that is also planning. We did Argentina. South Africa is also going on, and also Australia. Who could expect that this would be such a global sport? Come, shoot at the King of 2 Miles, shoot ELR. If you don't have King of 2 Miles kind of equipment, or you don't have a rifle that is either too heavy or different, there's also other competitions that you can do. It doesn't have to be the King of 2 Miles. You can do anything else but train. Get your stuff together, train, get your ballistic stuff, get your team working together, your spotter, and you will see how much enjoyable is this, how much challenging it is, and how much you can get as an improvement as a shooter, as a team, and pushing the envelope. That will make this sport greater each day, because it's not me, it's not Rex, it's not the shooters that are competing at King of 2 Miles. It is all about hundreds of very smart people fighting together for a common goal, which is hit consistently at 2 miles or over that. Paul has proven that we can shoot even at 6,000, or even more. And there's a lot of other people out there trying to do those record shots, which actually are very interesting. I'm really interested in that. Push it. We all fight for the same goals. We all have to do it. And together, we will make this whole sport of rifle shooting, extreme long range rifle shooting, a huge new thing going on in the future years. Snipers will benefit from this, shooters will benefit, and the market is benefiting already. We are improving everything, and innovation is happening. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rex. We'll see each other in a few days in Texas at the Rex 3000, and then in June at the Star Academy. Actually, at the Star Academy, you don't have to bring a Star. You can come and shoot with any rifle.
Yeah, I've actually fallen in love with that SSG 08A1 that I've been playing with for the last couple of years, and I ended up buying that. That's a really good choice. So that's a good suggestion. And if you guys get the chance, by the way, to ever make it to the Steyr Academy, Eduardo has a whole set of classes that he does as well for extreme long-range precision shooting, and they let you try the rifles. Me and a couple friends of mine actually got a chance to go down and take the classroom portion of the Steyr Academy, and then Eduardo and I were training on the same range together. I think they might have overbooked the range that time, or maybe they were hoping that we would, be able to share knowledge and resonate off each other. But it was cool to see you down there in Alabama when we were running the Rex Defense course and you were running the Steyr Academy. But really good to diversify your training for sure. And my top recommendation for extreme long-range rifle training would be Eduardo's Steyr Academy. I think that's definitely on your bucket list of things to do for sure. So you got any final last words here? I'll play some pictures of the Steyr Academy and some of the other stuff we did as we close for today. It was awesome talking to you. And just any closing remarks, and we'll see you in a couple weeks at the RX 3000.
Okay, after so many equipment, we've been talking about all this stuff and talking about teams and courses, and what is really important is go out there and shoot. Doesn't matter if you shoot with a 22, 338, if you have the budget, and you get a 460 Steyr, go there and shoot. You will never learn to be an ELR shooter by spending hours and hours on the computer and talking in forums and finding other people that guide you that don't really do it. Find people that are competing right now. The only way to do it is people that are really doing it. You don't have to only do it in the US. We have competitions all around the world. There's no alibi. Just go there, find a shooter that is competing, that is doing well, or at least fighting to do it well. Get to him, ask questions. Everybody around ELR is very helpful. Ask, learn from them, get with them, go with them and shoot. But really practice. If you don't have the range, do it with a 22. If you don't have the 460 Steyr, do it with a 338 Lapua. That's what I shoot most of the time, because actually I don't shoot my own ELR rifles a lot. I shoot my 338 Lapua and my 22s. So go there and shoot and find good training. I mean, you know about the Rex 3000. We already talked about next month in March. We also have the pre-King of 2 Miles in the Steyr Academy. Go there and get trained. And please come to the King of 2 Miles, because along the line you will realize that you have to come and prove it. That's our motto. Our team, Walter Wilkinson and Alex Cordesman, designed that motto because there's a lot of people talking, but then you have to come and prove it. So join the ELR crowd, get to the King of 2 Miles, and really enjoy the challenge. We are here to help. Just give us a call and we will point you in the right direction. Thank you, Rex, for having me on Rex Defense, and we'll meet together next month on the Rex 3000. Thank you very much to everybody, and don't hesitate to call me if you need any help. Thank you.
Rock and roll. Yeah, we'll see you at the RX 3000, and that is Eduardo Abril de Fontcuberta. Thanks for joining us, and it was a good discussion. And for continued discussion for another 3 days, you can sign up for the RX 3000 course with Eduardo and myself, rexdefense.com. Just hit the little tab on the side that says like training schedule or whatever, or you can go to the RX 3000 class and look at the details, what you need. Basically, if you have a 7mm Magnum on up, you'll be good to go. We've had a lot of people with 6.5 Creedmoors come and enjoy the heck out of the class. And so if you don't have a giant, huge rifle, don't get intimidated. We'll get you squared away with whatever you bring to the table. Like you just saying a minute ago, you can bring a 22 in all reality for some of that stuff. Now, this range will be 800 yards minimum, so a 22 might not quite cut it, but any kind of rifle you got will get you squared away, and you'll at least get to observe the science and see what's going on and learn the procedures. So we'll catch you very soon, my friend. Adios. Nice.
I've never taken a long-range class before, but I can't imagine anybody delivering this much information in this short of a period.
Yeah, it takes a while. After you've been around a while, you kind of accumulate most of this information. Some of it falls by the wayside. Some of it you retain. At least you know it's there, and if you need to use it, you can pull on it.
You cannot miss an opportunity to gain knowledge. You cannot. The guys that are going to talk here, there must be 250 years of experience wandering around in the people that you're going to be exposed to. And I'm talking like hard-earned experience.
Rex is, of course, an absolute natural. He showed us over the years that, so I wasn't surprised to see him perform beautifully because he was born for it. He is naturally an awesome presenter. So whether he does it through YouTube, on video camera, or live, and by the way, congratulations, this is beyond the full house. I really think some people snuck up on you, man. You got to double check on who paid and who didn't, because I see more than 80 people here. I see north of 100 people.
If you have not been studying long range for quite some time, I'm not saying not to come to this class. I'm saying you better put your helmet on. It's gonna go fast. You can't get information like this going to happen in this class. You can't get that like anywhere.
He's already well known, and he'll get better and better and better.
But you're right. We have a very strong concentration of people with this much interest and passion. You know, in this one room, everybody's here looking for the best and trying to be the best, and I love it.
And that's the secret to success, too, guys, is surrounding yourself with competent, intelligent, and passionate people.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot in this room, because everybody that gathers together here is because of a love for the sport or the craft and the skill and the art and the science. And you, Mr. Rex, you're kicking some butt up there today, man. You're in the zone.
I'm getting sweatier and sweatier, Lou. Wait until 4 hours from now.
You know, I'm a little scared to get up there. I mean, Rex is such a great speaker in this forum, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to bore these guys to death. But I can tell you one thing I like about these type of forums: when you get guys that admit to being interested in long-range shooting, you're past the guy who swears he can shoot a 1/4-inch group with his factory Savage with factory ammo. So these guys, they're not at that point. They've gone past that. They're really serious now, and they really know a lot of this stuff. It's more about how much further can I push my
This is where they've come with
capabilities with more knowledge and more practice and more information.
We'll have a good time. The students will have a good time. You're going to get a tremendous level of information, and there are different levels of knowledge. And when I met Rex, he was really the first guy that I had met that had that kind of tier 1 level of knowledge.
This won't be the last time that you guys do this. This is the best thing that I have seen or been associated with thus far in this industry. This is really good. I think that the guys have learned a lot about this on relative to the topics and how to handle it at the next one that they do. I expect that the next one will be better and better and better, and I think that the guys that go to it are going to benefit and learn a lot.
But you're going to see some amazing things when this company, as he builds this company and this curriculum, and it goes. I'm telling you, it's going to be a bookmark in American firearms training history. Like something is different over there. What's going on, and people will come from all over.
Hey folks, it's Lou McCoy with the Rex Reviews Project, and we are here in Texas. Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun. I'm here with Jesse and his lovely wife, and what do you guys have to say after the second day?
So we get out here, the first thing we did was check out all of our guns and equipment. We want that solid. We learn the fundamentals, make sure that everybody is doing things like correctly and properly, and that way when we start shooting out the longer distances, we don't we don't have to wonder what's all going on out there, And I think that's really cool because you feel a lot more confident knowing that you're solid, you got a solid foundation when you start engaging things way out there. So.
And you
I think that's great.
Yeah, man. And you start off really close and you get all the bugs worked out, and then you work out farther and it's no big deal. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. So the system works, Mr. X. It works, my man.
Just this experience was probably the best shooting experience I've ever had. It was the most I've ever learned, ever. So just getting to shoot out to 1,000, 1,100 yards, and these guys get you out there quick and do it the right way.
Feels like, but I think it's rolling down off the snow. Right.
No way.
Nah. That's still barely a 2.
Single. Oh yeah? It's hot air. Nothing.
Yeah, reticle choice and design, I've really learned to, like, that's really important. We always focus on all the other stuff, but reticle design, is very critical.
If you pay attention to those classes and watch those reviews, it'll all come together for you, and this is the place where it all comes together.
Yeah, and you get out in the field and you get to apply all that knowledge and see it in action, and that's gratifying.
Absolutely, and it's the real world issues that that you're really learning here, as opposed to just you get all that technical data, and then you bring it out here to the real world and you put it all together and it works.
The secret Rex taught me about butterfly kisses on the cheek. And
It's actually true?
It was true.
Did it work?
It totally worked.
What?
It totally was. It happened earlier today, and all day I've been just on.
Like I just said a minute ago, yesterday everybody showed up. They were nervous. They didn't know what to expect. And look at the crowd behind us now. It's like a party back there, man. People are just having the time of their lives, and not only having a good time, but making some shots too. Some impressive ones.
They're learning what they come out here with. The dot drills, a lot of the drills that Rex and Paul are having us do, they really make you, get you into shape and make you, do exactly what you did the last time and be consecutive, So I think that's a just super way to start to do this stuff. So.
Yeah, it is. And you lay that solid foundation and the rest is easy, man.
Yeah, we're just now it's not even really hard to shoot out there. We're shooting out at 1,100 yards, and really not that big a deal now after we, now that we know what to do.
All right, what just happened, man?
I just hit a water bottle at 875 yards.
And you had one shot.
One shot.
That's not bad. So what's the secret, man?
Aim small, miss small.
Amen. Well done, brother.
Thank you.
As long as you pay attention and do what the instructors say, it will all come together as an equation, and the equal sign pops right up.
Name's Edwin from Boston. Traveled out here to Pennsylvania to take the class to shoot past my home range of 600. Shot out to 1030, made some hits. Every time Rex teaches you something new and gets you comfortable, he totally messes with you. Gets you dirty, gets you muddy, makes you roll around in the rain and the mud and the dust. And then he takes your scope and he messes it all up, and he teaches us something new every time. So great time, good guys.
Nice shooting there, Tex.
Thanks, man. Second round hit on the gong and first round hit on Fred. 1,000-yard shot. That was pretty awesome.
Feels good for first stage of the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I wasn't shooting very good yesterday, but it's good to come back.
Haven't shot past 400 yards until I came to RX-18. Right off the bat, brought us right out to 1,000 yards, gave us some confidence. And after working the range tables, I see no reason why I couldn't hit any target that I knew the true range to and had the dope for, all the way out to and including 1,000 yards.
You're exposing, all the different students, including myself, to some different techniques, pulling from different arenas, whether it be from some application of competition, PRS, NRL kind of things. When we can't always take a prone shot, shooting off of obstacles, from unstable positions.
I came to the RX just to learn everything. It's a great place to be, great people. Learned quite a bit. Got me dialed in at ranges I've never even looked at before.
I've been to RX 17 001 seminar and 001 shooting, and so I had some familiarity, but this is just a lot better. This is what I really enjoy. The instruction is again top notch. We learn any problems we have, we immediately have someone to diagnose the problem. It's because it's so relaxed, the environment, you're constantly learning and you don't even really realize it. I think it's just been an awesome experience, and the knowledge is unbelievable.
Hey, my name's Mitch. I just over here at the Rex Live Fire event. Learned a hell of a lot. I got my rifle zero for 100 yards yesterday, and within a few hours I was hitting 1,030 yards. And I've never shot past 300 yards in my life. So it's definitely worth the money, definitely worth the trip, the hassle, everything about it's been great. Rex has been great, the crew's been great.
Oh, this has been terrific. From my standpoint, we've seen things that we never expected to see. Let me see, we've got one guy, first time ever, at over a mile or whatever, and he's hitting 25, 80.
I think everyone got to a mile, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, everyone got to a mile in the whole class relatively easily.
It's really been surprising, and that just shows how the equipment, and it shows how the shooters have progressed learning and with the instruction and all. These guys have had good instruction, and they've just got the job done.
And how far were you shooting?
It was 1 mile.
1 mile, and what were you using here?
300 Win Mag.
300 Win Mag.
But probably not. Watch out, Rex.
So you just hit the 2,500 yard. Like, what's your solution?
It was 116 and a half MOA elevation and 14 MOA windage.
And you had 4 shots.
Yes, sir.
You got in your team?
I had 6, so 10 total to hit 2551.
So tell me the story. How'd you finally spot where you're hitting?
I saw the trace. I saw his trace, and I called it good, but he was about 6 inches off the top right corner of the plate. He made a minor correction, bottom left edge of the plate, and I saw the top of the bullet, but I lost it, but it was an impact. So awesome shot.